Hello student, this is Suman Sharma from SVM Synergy and this is the second video for the chapter Force and Laws of Motion. In this video, we will study about Newton's laws of motion. Before we describe Newton's laws of motion, firstly we will recall about the force. So, we all know that a force is simply a push or pull on an object when tends to change its state of motion. It means that it is not necessary that the object change its state of motion when we are applying the force. For example, when we push the wall, then we are applying the force on the wall, but the wall does not change its state. So, we can say that to experience the force, we must apply push or pull. Here, the first law of motion tells us that any object remains at rest or in motion in a straight line unless an external unbalanced force acts on it. As you can see in the slide that here is the definition. A body at rest will remain at rest and a body in motion will continue in motion in a straight line unless we apply some external unbalanced force on it. Here, external force means force applied from outside. To understand this, suppose that there is a football and football is at rest. In the first image, football is at rest, and when we kick the football, then the football are in the state of motion, means we kick the football, means we are applying the force on the football and football continues to in motion like this, and the football continues to be in motion unless some other forces acts on it in the opposite direction. And when some other external forces act on it in opposite direction, then the football comes to at rest. So this is the simple way to understand the Newton's first law of motion, that any object remains at rest or in motion in a straight line unless an external unbalanced force acts on it. So, initially it was considered that if the object is at rest, then it remains at rest. This hypothesis is given by Galileo, and Newton's worked on Galileo's hypothesis and explained that when the object is in motion, then it remains in motion unless an external force applied in the opposite direction. So this is the concept of Newton's first law of motion. Here, in the next slide, as you can see that the word inertia means, what is inertia? The tendency of a body to remain at rest or to remain in motion, continue moving in a straight line is called inertia. Here, the Newton's first law of motion is also known as laws of inertia. And according to the first law of motion, we recognize that every object, every body has some inertia. Here, this is the definition of inertia, that Inertia is a property of the object due to which it resists a change in the state of rest or uniform motion. Means if an object is at rest, then the tendency of the object to remain in the state of rest, or if the object is in motion, then its tendency to maintain its uniform motion. So we can say that inertia is simply the property of any object or the body which resists to change its state of rest or uniform motion. Here, greater the inertia of the body, greater will be the force required to bring a change in its state of rest or of uniform motion. If the inertia is greater, then more force is required to change its state of rest or of uniform motion. But how can we measure inertia? So, inertia of a body is measured by its mass. If the object has more mass, it means it has more inertia. And if it has more inertia, then it requires more force to change its state of rest or of uniform motion. So we can say that the heavier objects will have more inertia than the lighter objects. So in this way, we can differentiate that which object has more inertia and which object has less inertia. For example, as you can see that a cricket ball and a rubber ball of the same size, then a cricket ball has more inertia and a rubber ball has less inertia. A cricket ball has more inertia because it has more mass, and a rubber ball has less inertia because it has less mass. So, inertia of an object is measured by its mass. The another example is that there is a toy car and a real car. So, a toy car had small mass, so it has less inertia, and if it has less inertia, then less amount of force is required to change its state of rest or of uniform motion, or we can say that it can be moved easily. And in the case of a real car has large mass. If it has large mass, then it has large inertia, and the greater force is required to change its state of rest or of uniform motion, or we can say that it is very difficult or greater amount of force is required to move it. As you can see in the image that it is also written, mass is the measure of the amount of matter in the object and it is expressed in kilogram. You already know this. Here, in this case, a train, a lot of inertia, and if the inertia is greater, here, if the inertia is greater, then the train strongly resists to change its state of motion. And in the next image, there is a small baby carriage, and here the inertia is less, so it has very less resistance to changes its motion. So in this way we can understand about inertia. Here, thus we can say that a lighter body has less inertia and can be moved or stopped easily, whereas a heavier body offers more. Means a heavier body has more inertia and it requires more force to change its state of rest or motion. Now, in the next slide, as you can see that there is a famous magic trick called coin drop, in which when we flick the cardboard, as you can see in the animation. When we flick the cardboard which has coin on it, then the coin falls in the glass due to the inertia. It is actually inertia at rest. So here we will explain that the inertia are of three kinds. First is the inertia of rest. Second is the inertia of motion. And third is the inertia of direction. So firstly, we will define that what is inertia of rest. Here, the inherent property of an object at rest to remain at rest and not to move on its own is called inertia of rest. Means it is the tendency of the object to remain at rest and not to move on its own is called inertia of rest. Here, as you can see in the image, that the best example of inertia of rest. Here, the first is that sudden starting of a stationary bus. Suppose that we are traveling in a bus and in the initial condition, both the bus or the passengers sitting inside the bus are at rest. But when the bus suddenly starts, then the bus is in motion, and with the bus, the feet of the passengers start moving forward, but the upper part of the body of the passenger, here as you can see that, like this, the upper part of the body of the passenger tends to remain in the state of rest due to inertia of rest. Because the upper part of the body of the passenger initially at rest and it doesn't want to change its state of rest. So the upper part remains at the state of rest due to the inertia of rest, so the passenger falls backward. This is the reason that when the bus or the car or any vehicle suddenly starts, then we fall in the backward direction due to inertia of rest. Now, in the next slide, there are some more examples of inertia of rest. Here, the another example is that shaking or beating a hanging carpet with a stick. So, the simple explanation of this is that let us consider that both the carpet or the dust particles are initially at rest. Means here shaking or beating a hanging carpet with a stick. When we beating the hanging carpet with a stick, then all the dust particles comes out of the carpet. Why does it happen? The reason behind it that it is due to inertia of rest. Here the explanation is that we consider that both the carpet and the dust particles on the carpet are at rest. It is the initial condition. And when the carpet is shaken or beaten with a stick, then the carpet is set into motion, but the dust particle remains in the state of rest. And the dust particles remains in the state of rest due to inertia of rest, and due to that the dust particles falls down due to the reason of gravity. So, this is one of the example of inertia of rest. Here, the second example is that shaking the branches of the trees. So, let us consider the initial condition. Initially, here the branches of the trees or the fruits or the leaves hanging are in the state of rest. When the branches of the trees are shaken, then the trees are in the state of motion, while the fruits or the leaves remain in the state of rest. And the fruits or the leaves are remain in the state of rest due to the inertia of rest, because the fruits or the leaves are initially at rest and they don't want to change their state of rest. So the fruits get detached from the branches, and due to the gravity, the fruits or the leaves come down to the ground. So this is the another example of inertia of rest. And the third is that a silken cloth spread under a heap of books is suddenly pulled. Here, in this case, the first condition is that both the silken cloth or the heap of the books are in the state of rest. But when we pulled out the silken cloth under the heap of the books, then the heap of the books remains in the state of rest due to inertia of rest. And so we can say that due to the inertia of rest, the heap of the books does not fall, and we can easily pull out the silken cloth which is spread under the pile or the heap of the books. So these are some examples of inertia of rest. In our next video, we will study about the inertia of motion or inertia of direction. So this is enough for today. Thank you so much.